So hello everyone. So welcome to the technical run of the 14th YTN Middle School English Debating Championship. So my name is Haesung Pyun, and I am the tournament director for this tournament. The technical run we are doing today is an orientation for students who are not familiar with online debating tournaments, and we expect students to be fully prepared for the online tournament system by this technical run. And if you have any questions regarding technical run, we will have a Q&A session at the end. So please wait to, feel free to ask them. 안녕하세요. 저는 이번 14회 중학생 영어 토론대회 토너먼트 디렉터 편혜성입니다. 본 테크니컬 런은 온라인 대회에 익숙하지 않은 학생들 또는 영어 토론대회가 처음인 학생들을 위해 진행한 설명회입니다. 기본적으로 영어로 진행하되 중요한 부분은 한국어로도 다시 설명을 해드릴 예정이니 이제 테크니컬 런을 시작하도록 하겠습니다. So here's how the technical run is going to flow. First, we will have the TD briefing, where the TD stands for Tournament Director. In the TD briefing, we will be going through the following. So first, we will do a brief introduction regarding what we are going to talk about in the TD briefing. Second, we will talk about the communication channels that we have in the tournament. So we will be explaining what communication channels we will be using, how to use them, whatnot. Third, we will talk about the debate platforms. So we will be explaining about Zoom, especially on how the Zoom cameras need to be set. We do have a policy that sets that mandates 3 cameras and a way in which you need to set up your cameras. Fourth, we talk about the debate process. So we will talk about the step-by-step explanation about how the debate is going to be flowing. Last, we will talk about the schedule and the contact methods. After the TD briefing, we will then have the CAP briefing, which will be covering the relevant rules regarding our tournament. So you will listen to the TD briefing here in the main hall. And for the CAP briefing, it will be done separately for General League and EFL League teams, where the General League teams will be done in English and EFL League in Korean. So if you want to listen to the CAP briefing in Korean, you're free to join the EFL League CAP briefing, even if you are from the General League and you're more comfortable with Korean. 지금 보시는 내용이 오늘 진행될 테크니컬 런의 목차인데요. 우선 토너먼트 디렉터 TD인 제가 TD 브리핑을 진행한 후에 심판진에서 진행하는 CAP 브리핑이 있을 예정입니다. TD 브리핑에서는 카카오톡이나 줌과 같이 대회에서 사용하는 플랫폼과 운영 방식을 설명을 해드리고 CAP 브리핑에서는 대회 규칙을 좀 다룰 예정입니다. 그래서 그러면 이제 TD 브리핑을 시작하도록 하겠습니다. Okay, so let's first start with the introduction for the TD briefing. For the communication channel, we have the Google website, the Kakao Talk, the email, and also the call way in which you're able to call. We also have the debate platforms where you'll be using Zoom as our main tournament platform, both General and EFL League. And then we also have the Google form, which is needed to get feedback from the teams, as well as inquiries and complaint form, the point to which the teams want to submit a formal complaint if they want to. For Zoom, we will be having 2 Zoom rooms for each league. So one for the General League and one for EFL. And you'll be using the breakout rooms within each room for debate rounds. 소통 채널 및 토론 플랫폼의 기본적인 구성은 다음과 같습니다. 소통 채널은 구글 홈페이지, 카카오톡 오픈 채팅방, 이메일, 그리고 전화 이렇게 4가지가 있으며 토론 플랫폼의 경우 줌과 구글 폼이 있습니다. 특히 줌과 관련해서는 이번 대회는 리그별로 2개의 큰 줌 회의실을 연 뒤 각 회의실 내 소회의실에서 토론이 직접 진행이 될 예정입니다. 학생들도 더 수월하게 토론방을 찾을 수 있으며 운영위원회 측에서도 진행 상황을 더 쉽게 모니터링할 수 있어서 이 방식을 도입하게 되었습니다. 그럼 이제 대회 소통 채널에 대해서 세부적으로 설명해 드리겠습니다. Yeah, so first, the Google website. The Google website is different from our official homepage that you use to apply. This Google website or the Google page will be used specifically and only for this 14th YTN Middle School English Debating Championship. And this website is going to be containing the following links and files, which is the Zoom links, also the tournament information packet, the inquiries and complaint form, which I have talked about earlier, as well as the important files of the tournament. So the tournament policy, the guidelines that you need to read beforehand, the technical run PPT, which I'm currently reading off of, and also the break announcement PPT and the closing ceremony PPT after those things are done in the tournament. 지금 보시는 구글 홈페이지는 대회 참가 신청 때 쓰신 공식 홈페이지와는 다른데요. 저희 공식 홈페이지는 지난 초등, 중등, 고등 대회를 모두 다루는 반면에 이 홈페이지는 이번 14회 중등 중등 대회를 위해서만 사용이 됩니다. 해당 페이지에서 이번 대회 줌 링크, 운영안 등을 찾아보실 수 있으니 대회 당일에는 공식 홈페이지가 아니라 이 구글 웹사이트를 이용해 주시기 바랍니다. Okay, now we have the inquiry and complaint form within the Google website. And if you have any inquiries or complaints before, during, or after the tournament, please use the form below with the link and submit the inquiry to the organizing committee. 대회 이전, 도중, 이후의 건의사항이나 요청사항 등을 제기할 때 해당 구글 폼을 사용하시면 됩니다. 제기할 컴플레인이 있는 팀이 직접 작성을 해주셔야 하며 학부모나 코치가 대신 작성하실 수 없습니다. 폼을 제출해 주시면 추후 운영위원회 측에서 사태 파악 및 조사 진행 뒤 알맞은 조치를 취해 연락을 드릴 예정입니다. 또한 급한 경우는 전화로 컴플레인을 제기하셔도 괜찮지만 꼭 팀이 직접 전화를 해주시길 부탁드리겠습니다. Right. Next, we have the announcement banner in the Google website. The announcement, because we do not have a waiting room for parents, unlike the offline tournaments that we have done in the past, the announcement banner is made where it will be frequently updated to inform parents or guardians of the progress of the tournament. So that even if parents are not able to see what the child is doing because they do not have a waiting room, just like in an offline tournament, you're still able to check the progress of the tournament. 기존 오프라인으로 진행되었던 대회와는 다르게 온라인 대회는 별도의 학부모 대기실이 없고 학부모와 선생님들은 토론을 참관하거나 대회 중 아이들이 있는 방에 들어가실 수 없습니다. 따라서 대회 진행 상황을 알려드리고자 홈페이지 상단 배너를 활용하고 있습니다. 저희 운영진 측에서 공지 배너 또는 배너를 통해 실시간으로 진행 상황을 업데이트해드리고 있으니 홈페이지를 새로 고침하셔서 대회 진행 상황을 확인해 주시기 바랍니다. 예시로 보시면 공지사항으로 1라운드 토론이 11시 30분까지 일어나고 점심은 11시 반부터 1시까지 또는 뭐 기술적인 문제가 있어서 20분 딜레이 그래서 라운드 3 토론은 4시부터 6시까지 이런 식으로 공지사항을 계속해서 바꾸고 있으니까 학부모님들은 만약에 토론 대회에 관심이 있으시면 홈페이지를 수시로 들어가셔서 이거 공지사항을 확인해 주시기 바랍니다. 그럼 이제 같이 홈페이지를 살펴보도록 하겠습니다. Yeah, so we'll now look at the home page so that people know what exactly that we were talking about. So if you go to the link that we have sent in the Kakao Talk, you will be able to find the 14th YTN-HUFS Middle School English Debating Championship website. And if you look at it above, you will be able to see the Zoom link for the General League, as well as the Zoom link for the EFL League. And then if you scroll below, you will also be able to see the tournament information packet, as well as the tournament inquiries and complaint form, those important links that you are probably going to be needing in the tournament. We also have the technical run Zoom link, which is the Zoom that we are currently in, as well as the PPT, which I'm currently explaining. And we also have the rulebook and guidelines, especially when it comes to the rulebook. Because of the fact that rulebook contains a more detailed picture than the technical run that we are currently explaining of how the tournament is running, please make sure to comprehend all of the things in the guidelines before actually participating in the tournament. And lastly, we have the closing ceremony and break announcements, which will be repeatedly updated, the point to which the tournament goes through respectively these events. And then we have the contacts for people who want to contact the organizing committee. And then if you look at the tab above, you'll be able to see the schedule. So we have a schedule just in case students want to see the schedule, as well as for parents. And then we have in the video tab, you will also be able to see the YTN Debate official YouTube channel. You'll also be able to see the technical run recordings here. So after the technical run is over, and because this is recorded, we will be posting the 14th technical run recording in the YouTube channel so that people are able to check it out. So if there are students who are not able to come to this technical run due to other issues or other more important things, please make sure to check the YTN YouTube channel and make sure to go over the technical run before participating in the tournament. 영상의 경우는 본 테크니컬 런 녹화본이 3일 이내에 유튜브 웹사이트에 올라갈 예정이며 본 대회가 끝나면 3일 이내에 각 리그 결승전 영상이 유튜브 웹사이트로 올라갈 예정입니다. 그렇기 때문에 테크니컬 런에 참석하지 않은 학생들은 또는 학부모님이 참석을 하셨고 학생들이 참석을 안 하셨다면 저희 유튜브 채널에 올라가 있는 테크니컬 런 영상을 보게 하시고 대회에 참석해 주시길 부탁드리겠습니다. Okay, so now let's just go back to the PPT that we have been mentioning. So next we have the KakaoTalk Open Chat. So we've now been talking about the Google website. Now let's look at the KakaoTalk Open Chat, which is going to be our main communication channel throughout the tournament. We've already sent the KakaoTalk Open Chat link to the contact person's email. So we implore people or students from each team to join by Wednesday 9th, 11:59 p.m., which is about 3 days before the tournament. And the reason as to why people should join the KakaoTalk Open Chat is because we will be posting all of the important announcements in the tournament as the tournament progresses. We'll also be, for instance, doing roll call in the KakaoTalk Open Chat to make sure that all teams are here. So please make sure to join one person for each team to join the KakaoTalk Open Chat before the tournament. 지난주 연락대표 학생 이메일에 각 리그별 예선 톡방의 링크가 있는데요. 이미 많은 팀이 톡방에 들어왔지만 아직까지 들어오지 않은 팀이 있으면 대회 3일 전인 8월 9일까지 꼭 입장해 주시기 바랍니다. 혹시라도 팀원 중에 이 파일을 전달받지 못한 학생이 있다면 연락대표 학생에게 요청을 해주시고 본인이 연락대표 학생인데 메일로 받은 것이 없다면 사무국을 연락해 주시기 바랍니다. Next, I'm going to talk about the roll call. Roll calls are going to be done in the KakaoTalk, as I've mentioned above. But what we will be doing is, the specific process goes as follows. So first, a poll will be uploaded on KakaoTalk, and it will look like this. It will look like the picture above, where it says that all present, all entered Zoom, and some missing. And if all 3 members are present, then the team should check all present. If all 3 devices enter Zoom, the team can check all enter Zoom. And if some members are missing, the team should check some missing. And once all teams within the league checks all present and all entered, both at the same time, we will take this as a sign that all teams are present and they are ready to do the round. So it's going to specifically look like this. So teams need to pick both all present and all enter Zoom for the round to progress. So please make sure to be informed of this. Okay, 그래서 각 라운드 전마다 카카오톡방을 통해 출석 체크를 진행한 뒤 모든 팀이 준비가 되었을 때 라운드를 시작합니다. 그러니 이 내용을 숙지하여 대회 때 최대한 빨리 출석 체크를 해주셔야 대회가 딜레이 없이 빠르게 끝날 수 있습니다. 출석 체크 방법은 다음과 같습니다. 미리 공지한 롤콜 시간에 맞춰 톡방에 이 화면과 같은 투표창이 올라올 것입니다. 이때 팀원 3명 모두가 있다면 All Present를 체크하고 중방에 3개의 기기가 모두 들어온 상태면 Enter Zoom에도 체크를 하시면 됩니다. 만약 몇 명이 화장실을 통해 자리를 비운 상태라면 Some Missing에 체크를 하셨다가 해당 학생이 돌아왔을 때 All Present로 다시 투표를 해주시면 됩니다. 이렇게 해서 모든 팀이 All Present와 All Enter Zoom을 2개를 동시에 선택을 하셨을 때 저희가 라운드를 진행할 수 있으니 혹시라도 학부모님들이 이걸 보고 계신다면 학생들한테도 All Present와 All Enter Zoom 2개를 동시에 누르셔야 된다고 말씀해 주시기 바랍니다. Okay, next we can talk about the KakaoTalk guidelines. So one really important thing is that only one person from each team should be entering the room. So if there are multiple students from the same team that is entering, we would have to ask the team to, I guess, pick one contact person to be entering the room or staying in the room and the other student to be getting out. Also, please do not share the link and code with third party. And when it comes to the profile name setting, and a lot of the teams are already following this, so I don't think I have to mention this a lot. For the general league teams, what you need to be doing is put G within the bracket and then follow that with their team name. So for instance, if your team name is Shooting Star, write a G within each bracket and then your team name, which is Shooting Star. The same goes for EFL league teams, except for the fact that instead of writing G within the bracket, you should be writing E. So that's the profile name setting that people should be following. And if you have a concern or any question that you would like to discuss in private, you can just private message one-on-one chat to the tournament director, which is me. There's a link to the private chat within this PPT, and you can also take a picture of the QR code, which will directly give you guys the link to the private chat. 대회 이전, 도중 또는 이후에 문의사항이 있으시면 사무국에 이메일 또는 전화를 하셔도 되지만 저희 카카오톡 1대1 오픈 채팅을 하셔도 됩니다. 특히 참가 학생들 중 개인적으로 문의할 내용이 있는 경우 단체 톡방이 아닌 이 1대1 카톡방으로 채팅을 주시면 됩니다. 1대1 채팅은 보이는 그림처럼 단체 톡방에서 TD를 클릭을 하시거나 아니면은 지금 보시는 PPT 페이지 하단 링크 및 QR코드 또는 앞서 보여드린 대회 홈페이지 하단에서 찾아보실 수 있으니까 혹시라도 궁금하신 점이 생기신다면 이 방법을 통해서 저에게 연락을 주시기 바랍니다. Okay, so now I think the Kakao Talk is over. Now let's look at those Zoom. Now let's look at the debate platform with Zoom as the primary debate platform to which the tournament is going to operate. So when it comes to Zoom settings, the Zoom names, you need to change your Zoom names to bracket and then your team name and then your camera number. So the same way in which when you start trying to change your KakaoTalk profile name, if you're a general league, write G within the bracket and then your team name. The only thing that changes is that you need to now add the camera numbers. So because you're mandated or obligated to be bringing 3 cameras, you need to have the names of number 1, camera number 1, camera number 2, camera number 3. The same goes for EFL League, except for the fact that you need to write E within the bracket instead of a G. And when it comes to the audio settings, and this is a recommendation that we are going to give, the podium, so when it comes to microphone, only the podium camera needs to be turned on during the speech, and when you're not giving a speech, you need to turn it off. When it comes to the speaker, also the podium, we recommend the podium camera to be turned on at all times so that you're able to hear directions as well as other people speaking. But we also encourage the other devices to be turned off. The reason being that there are likely to be echoing issues if you have multiple speakers on, and because oftentimes of Wi-Fi issues, there's likely to be delays within some devices. So it's not, echoing issues are probably likely to be worse, the point to which you have multiple speakers that is saying, like, talking about things in the same time. So we recommend that you should only turn one speaker for one device and microphone for one device. And when it comes to the microphone, just turn it on during the speech and turn it off when you're not giving a speech. Now let's look at the camera settings. So when it comes to the camera, cameras must capture all 3 students, which is the screen and the screen of other devices, the door, as well as the desk when you're in preparation time, and then the speaker when the debate is progressing. So according to the room structure, what each camera captures might change, but everything that we have mentioned here, all 4 of the things here should be included. So for example, camera number 1, which is going to be the podium camera where you are speaking and looking at when you're debating, first captures the desk and the speaker, and then camera 2 captures every 3 debaters, the door, and the screen of camera 3, and camera 3 captures the screen of camera 1 and 2. 이번 대회에서는 팀당 총 3대의 카메라를 설치를 해야 하는데요. 온라인 대회에서 발생 가능한 부정행위를 방지하고 사각지대를 최소화하기 위함입니다. 그렇기 때문에 카메라 3개는 일단 4가지를 필수로 포함을 시켜야 하는데요. 학생 3명 전원, 그리고 기기와 카메라의 화면, 3번째로 문, 그리고 4번째로 색상 및 발화자를 포함을 하셔야 됩니다. 카메라는 별도의 지시가 없을 시에는 준비 시간 및 토론 시간에 절대 건드리시면 안 되며 화자를 비추는 포디움 카메라만 카메라 각도 조절 또는 음소거 해제 등의 용도로만 만지실 수 있습니다. 혹시라도 방 구조가 다 다르다 보니까 어떻게 카메라를 배치해야 될지 모르시는 경우는 사무국에 연락을 해주시기 바랍니다. So for reference, because I think that it might be a bit vague if I just type it in words, here is how the camera angle should be looking. So camera number 1 captures the desk, just like the picture above, and then you capture the speaker who is speaking during the debate. Camera 2 captures everyone, the door, and also the screen of camera 3. And then camera 3 captures screen of camera 1 and 2. So this is how we recommend the cameras to be set up so that there is likely to be so that you're able to get a holistic picture of how the room is currently made and function. Okay, so these are some examples that people can see. So during debate, the camera 1 should be capturing the desk and the speaker as well. During debate, the speaker that is speaking should be captured on camera 1. And then when it comes to the second example, during preparation time, camera 1 should be capturing the desk. And then during debate, camera captures the speaker instead of the desk. Right, so these are some examples. If there are any questions regarding how the camera needs to be set up, again, please contact the organizing committee and we will try to figure out what is the best way in which you're able to set up your cameras. Okay, now let's talk about the Zoom main hall and breakout rooms. When it comes to Zoom main hall, the main policy is to mute your microphones unless the host lets you to unmute. Also, please have your cameras on at all the time so that we are actually able to know if your team is here or not. If you're in a Zoom breakout room, which means that you're probably like doing the debate, you should be muting your microphones during the preparation time. And always try to respect debaters, adjudicators, or organizers while you're talking or chatting. Right. So next, which is the fourth theme of this TD briefing, we want to talk briefly about the debate process. So how the debate is going to be functioning. So first, there's going to be about 6 or 7 steps regarding the one round that you're going to be doing. So first is that we are going to be doing the roll call, where a roll call will be posted on KakaoTalk Open Chat. If you are unfamiliar with this, you can just refer to the slide 9 of this PPT, which gives you a more detailed explanation about how this works. And then second, the matchup or the draw is going to be released. And we have the sample matchup right here up here as well. The important thing here is that the matchups will be screen shared on Zoom and shared as a PNG on KakaoTalk. And as soon as you see the matchups, what you need to be doing is you need to be writing down your room number. You should be writing down your team position, so whether you're government or opposition. And third, if you also should be writing down the name of your judge. So for instance, if you are Korea Red, you should be writing down. If you are Korea Red, you should be writing down your room number, which is YTN-20, and then you should be writing down your team position, which is going to be government. And then you should also be writing down your judge's name, which is Seokjin Yoon. So write down those names in the A4 paper so that you don't, I guess, confuse which breakout room you're actually going into. You also don't confuse which team you're debating with. 이제 본격적으로 한 라운드가 어떻게 진행되는지 설명을 해드리겠습니다. 각 라운드 시작 전에 카카오톡을 통해 출석 체크 투표가 진행이 되는데요. 출석 체크를 통해 모든 팀이 출석이 확인되면 대진표를 발표하게 됩니다. 대진표는 줌으로 화면 공유가 되고 카카오톡 채팅방으로도 공유가 되게 되어 있는데요. 각 팀은 대진표에서 자신이 속한 소회의실의 방 번호, 찬성 반대 측, 그리고 심판의 이름을 종이에 꼭 써주시길 바랍니다. 특히 자신 팀이 찬성 측인지 또는 반대 측인지를 유의해서 기억해 주시기 바랍니다. 그래서 만약에 자기 팀이 코리아 레드라고 가정을 했을 때 YTN-22 소회의실 방 번호이기 때문에 적어주셔야 되고요. 코리아 레드 같은 경우는 지금 현재 거버먼트 측이기 때문에 거버먼트 이름 적어주시고 심판 이름이 석진윤 이렇게 3가지를 적어주셔야 됩니다. Then the third step within the debate process is that you need to move on to your breakout room. So after you've done after you finished seeing the draws, then you move on to the breakout rooms based on what breakout room you were allocated within the draw. So the way in which you can do that is by clicking breakout rooms, which is 소회의실 on the bottom of your screen, and then find your allocated room and click join 참가. and then you will be able to click yes, and then you will be able to join the breakout room that you are currently allocated in. 대진표 발표 후에 소회의실이 열리게 되어 있습니다. 이때 각 팀은 소회의실로 직접 들어가셔야 하는데요. 줌 하단 메뉴의 소회의실 또는 breakout room 아이콘을 클릭을 하신 후에 앞서 대진표에서 나오신 소회의실 방번호로 들어가시면 됩니다. 중요하신 점은 카메라를 3개를 이제 한 팀마다 쓰기 때문에 카메라 3대 모두 다 옮겨주셔야 하며 저희가 직접 이동을 시켜드릴 수는 있지만은 웬만하면 학생들이 모두 다 직접적으로 이동을 해주시는 걸 추천드리겠습니다. And then the fourth step regarding the debate process is that we will now have a debate where the motions are going to be released at the same time in each breakout rooms. We will be giving 30 minutes of preparation time once after the motion is released, the teams debate, and then the judges then take time to evaluate and prepare their feedback for about 10 to 15 minutes. In that meanwhile, teams should be muting themselves and then waiting for the judge to give the OA. And then the judges are going to come back. They are going to be giving the oral adjudication. They'll be explaining the verdict as well as the reason why the verdict stands, and they'll also be giving feedback to the teams on how to improve. After receiving the feedback, the teams can then ask for further feedback in the breakout rooms, but please try to remember to stay in the breakout rooms even after the feedback is over. And the reason is, we will close all breakout rooms once all rooms have finished debating, and you will automatically move back to the main hall, the point to which every breakout room is finished debating. Because we have disabled go back to the main hall function, this means that if you move out from the breakout room, you will probably be logging out from the entire Zoom session at all. So we don't want that to happen, which means that just stay in the breakout room, and we will just close the breakout room and manually move everyone into the Zoom main hall once the debate is over. 토론이 끝난 뒤에 각 방의 모든 팀이 다 입장한 이후에 모든 방에서 심판들이 동시에 주제를 공개를 하게 되는데요. 주제 공개가 된 시점을 기준으로 준비 시간이 30분 주어지며 팀들은 디베이트를 하게 됩니다. 토론이 끝나고 나서는 팀들은 각 소회의실에서 음소거를 한 채로 10분에서 15분간 심판의 피드백을 기다리면 됩니다. 이때 심판의 결과 발표 및 피드백이 끝난 뒤에도 소회의실에 나올 필요 없이 각자 휴식을 해주시면 되는데요. 모든 방에서 토론의 결과 발표가 끝나게 되면 운영위원회가 일괄적으로 소회의실을 닫고 모든 학생들을 다시 메인홀로 옮겨드릴 예정이니까 소회의실에서 토론이 끝났고 피드백을 받으신 후에 각자 휴식을 취하고 계시면 됩니다. The last and the seventh step within each round is to submit the judge feedback form. So after the judge gives you feedback, you need to first submit the judge feedback form where you score how much score the judges should be getting. Each team should submit one feedback form about their judge, and the URL link to the feedback form will be uploaded on the KakaoTalk chat after every round. The scores given by the teams will be determining the judges that will break in the elimination round. So we implore or advise students to make sure to score the judges accurately, score judges who really deserve going to the elimination rounds the highest, and the score judges who you don't think as deserving should not be getting a high score. 결과 발표까지 모두 끝나면 학생들은 심판에 대한 피드백을 작성해서 제출하게 되는데요. 이때 심판이 내린 결과에 납득하는지, 심판이 이 결과에 대해 충분한 설명을 했는지, 건설적인 피드백으로 도움을 받을 수 있었는지 등을 종합적으로 평가를 해주시면 됩니다. 평가 내용을 반영해서 본선 심판이 결정이 되니 그 피드백 폼 본선 심판 결정이 되니 신중하게 해주시길 부탁드리며 피드백 폼 링크는 매 라운드가 끝난 후 카카오톡 톡방에 올려드릴 예정입니다. 라운드마다 새로운 폼을 사용하니 그 전 라운드의 피드백 폼을 2번 작성하는 일이 없도록 주의해 주시기 바랍니다. So let's now go over a brief summary of how the debate is going to flow. So first, you will have the KakaoTalk roll call, which is going to be uploaded in the KakaoTalk open chat. Once you click all present and all within Zoom, when every team within each league does that, we will now proceed with the matchups, where the matchups are released in the KakaoTalk image file. We will be sharing the image file on KakaoTalk, or in Zoom, you will be screen sharing the image file of the draws. When you see the draws, what you need to be doing is you need to be writing down the breakout room number. Also write down your position, whether you're government or opposition. You also need to write down your judge's name. After you do that, teams now move on to the breakout rooms by themselves. You need to move all of your cameras with you, and you move to your assigned breakout rooms. Once all teams move into the breakout rooms, we will start the debate where motions will be released inside the breakout room by the judge and will be released at the same time. So all teams will be getting the motion at the same time. After the team's debate, the judges will be giving feedback to the teams within the breakout room of each rooms. And then after the students receive feedback, they would submit the judge feedback forms. So that is how the debate process is going to flow. Please make sure to be familiar with this process because it would likely lead to a lot of delays if people are unfamiliar with this. If there are any questions, you can just ask them at the end. Okay, so now we want to talk about the tournament schedule. So regarding the tournament schedule, we have the opening ceremony and break announcements and closing ceremony where guardians, parents, and all teachers are able to participate. Important thing here is that we will be doing opening remarks and break announcements in the general main hall, not only in the EFL main hall, which means that even EFL teams need to be joining first in the general main hall for opening remarks, break announcement, and also for the closing ceremony as well, closing ceremony as well. When it comes regarding the roll call, so each round is likely to be proceeding for about 2 hours. So if you look at round one starts at 9 and then ends at 11. And if you also include the preparation time, which is 30 minutes beforehand, each round is going to be about 2 hours and a half. And then we will have lunch in 11 to 12 p.m. And the same thing progresses for round 2, round 3, and round 4, where we will be ending at about 8:35 after the break announcement. Also, please note that the final round, which is going to be round 4, is a silent round, meaning that there will be no results or feedback provided after that round is over, but the ballots will be sent to each team after the tournament. So if people are wondering about what were the verdict, also what was the reason for why the verdict stands in that way, we will be giving out the ballots as well as the explanation for why the ballots happen to be that way after the tournament has ended. So please wait for about like 2 or 3 days. Regarding day 2, the important thing here is that since elimination round for the EFL League starts from quarterfinals, not octofinals, the 8 EFL breaking teams need to join the EFL Zoom call by 10:40, not 8 in the morning. So for general league teams, which is octofinals, where 16 teams break, general teams have to be present by 8:40. We will be doing roll calls by then. But for EFL quarterfinalists, because they broke only within quarters, this means that they will be doing roll call at 10:40. So please make sure not to confound the times. For EFL, it's going to be 10:40 if the teams break. And again, for each round, it's going to be costing about 2 hours. And importantly as well, closing ceremony is going to be held in the General League Zoom call. So for EFL League teams, also join the General League Zoom call. Please note that for speaker awards, there are sometimes cases when the speaker award is awarded to a speaker from a non-breaking team. So please join the closing ceremony, even if you think that the team did not make it to the elimination round, because there are occasionally some speakers who are exceptionally good that gets a speaker award, even if they were not able to break. Okay, yeah. So now we will be proceeding in Korean, just in case. 이제 대회 스케줄에 관해서 다시 한번 한국어로 설명을 해드릴 텐데, 대회 1일차의 경우는 첫날 예선의 출석 체크 및 개회식 같은 경우 제너럴 리그와 EFL 리그 모두 제너럴 리그 줌 회의실에서 진행이 될 예정입니다. 그래서 EFL 리그 팀들도 제너럴 리그 줌 링크로 접속을 해주셔서 접속을 하시고 나서 개회식 후에 저희 안내에 따라서 다시 EFL 줌 링크로 다시 접속을 하시면 되고요. 본선 진출 발표 그리고 또 2일차에 있는 시상식 및 폐회식 같은 경우도 제너럴 리그 줌 링크로 진행이 되기 때문에 이 스케줄 제대로 보시고 나서 제너럴 리그 방으로 와주시기 바랍니다. 각 라운드 같은 경우는 2시간씩 진행이 될 예정이며 예선 1라운드 같은 경우는 9시부터 11시, 점심시간 11시부터 12시, 그리고 그 다음에 나머지 라운드도 똑같이 2시간 반 정도씩 소요가 돼서 본선 진출 발표를 8시 15분에 하고 8시 35분쯤에 끝날 예정입니다. 마지막에 예선 4라운드 같은 경우는 결과가 발표되지 않는 사일런트 라운드입니다. 즉 예선 4라운드는 토론이 끝난 직후 결과가 발표가 되지 않으며 해당 라운드에 대한 점수와 피드백은 대회가 끝난 이후 각 팀에게 이메일로 보내드릴 예정이므로 만약에 예선 4라운드 결과와 그리고 왜 이런 결과 나오는지가 궁금하시면은 대회 끝나고 한 2, 3일 정도만 기다려 주시면은 저희가 그 내용을 이메일로 보내드리겠습니다. 둘째 날 같은 경우는 제너럴 리그는 16강부터 진행이 되고요. EFL 리그는 8강부터 치르게 됩니다. 따라서 제너럴 리그 팀들의 출석 체크는 오전 8시에 오전 8시에 진행이 되지만 EFL 리그 팀 같은 경우는 오전 10시 40분쯤에 진행이 됩니다. 다시 말씀드리자면 제너럴 리그 팀은 오전 8시까지 제너럴 리그 줌 링크로 들어오시면 되고요. 만약에 EFL 리그 본선을 진출하셨다 하시면 오전 10시 40분까지 EFL 리그 줌 링크로 들어와 주시면 됩니다. 시상식 및 폐회식 같은 경우는 아까 말씀드렸다시피 제너럴 리그 중회의실에서 진행이 되며 팀 부문과 스피커 부문 시상이 있습니다. 간혹 본선에 진출하지 못한 팀에서도 뛰어난 역량을 보여주신 개인 스피커 수상자가 나오는 경우가 종종 있으니까 예선에서 탈락한 팀이더라도 마지막 시상식에는 꼭 참석해 주시길 바랍니다. 그리고 저희가 정해진 일정대로 진행하기를 위해 최선을 다하겠지만 온라인 대회 특성상 인터넷 연결 등의 문제로 딜레이 등이 발생할 수가 있어요. 따라서 학부모님께서는 앞서 설명해드린 대로 홈페이지 공지사항 배너를 참고하셔서 대회 실시간 진행 상황을 확인해 주시기 바랍니다. 또한 30분 이상의 큰 딜레이가 발생을 할 경우에는 학부모 및 교사분들께도 문자로도 알려드리고 있으니까 참고 바라겠습니다. 아까 말씀했다시피 제너럴 리그 팀 출석 체크는 8시고요. EFL 리그 팀 출석 체크는 10시 40분에 시작이 될 겁니다. The last thing that I want to end with the TD briefing is going to be the contact information. So if you have any inquiries during the tournament and even before the tournament, feel free to contact us by using the following forms. So first is the email, second is the phone by phone, and third is through the QR code in the one-on-one TD Kakao chat. For when it comes to the tournament, like when it comes to during the tournament, it would be really hard for us to actually check email because we are continuously operating the tournament at the same time. So what we recommend people to be doing or students to be doing is to try to prioritize calling by phone or, for instance, chatting through one-on-one Kakao chat with the tournament director. And even if you do it by email, we will be replying, but it might not be as fast as people actually wish. 저희 연락처 정보가 담겨있는 페이지인데요. 대회 전과 후에는 이메일을 통해서 궁금하신 점을 물어보셔도 되지만 대회 당일에는 이메일의 특성상 빠른 답변이 힘드니 당일에는 카카오톡 1:1 오픈 채팅이나 전화를 활용해 주시면 감사하겠습니다. 전화의 경우는 저희 공식 홈페이지에 나와 있으신 사무국 전화번호인 02398-8335나 8337로 전화를 주셔도 되는데 대회 당일에는 문의가 많아서 혼잡할 수 있으니 각 리그 전화번호로 연락을 주시면 더 빠르게 도와드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
Right. Good morning, everyone. We're now going to move on to the CAP briefing. My name is Junbom. I'll be your chief adjudication panel, as well as in charge of all the adjudication in the upcoming YTN-HUFS Youth English Debating Championship. Let's now move on to the briefing. And I want to stress that these things are extremely, extremely important. It's very important for you to comply to all the rules that we are stating in the following slides. And you should be aware of each and every details so that there won't be any problems for everyone, including myself, and also for you to enjoy the competition as a whole. All right. Let's now move on to our CAP briefing. First of all, let's touch upon our online debating rules. The first is about allowed supplies. All right. Each and every team is only allowed to bring 20 sheets of blank and entirely white A4 paper per round, meaning it should not be colored. It should not have any writing before you actually use it. There should be nothing written on the papers, and the judge at every round will ask each team to show the papers on the camera so that we are sure that there is nothing written on the papers. In terms of counts of those numbers, it doesn't exactly have to be 20 sheets, but prepare enough for you to use for the entire round. So make sure that you bring enough papers, roughly about 20 sheets per round. All right. Also, let's now talk about other things that you need to prepare. Pen, pencils, highlighters, of course. One dictionary per team. And there has been a problem with us using an almanac. And this almanac is only supposed to be published by other third parties. That these almanacs should not be produced by any hagwons or any private institutions. It should be things that you can get from any bookstores, or get somewhere from YTN-HUFS or any sort of bookstores, online or offline. It should not be privately made. It should not contain any information regarding a particular debate motion, or pros and cons of certain topics. It should only contain information about current issues, which are supposed to be the spirit of an almanac that is publicly produced. Also, each team should have single function stopwatch, meaning it cannot be an Apple Watch or any sort of smartwatch that has other functions that can allow you to do other things during the round. All right. The judges will make sure that they check what kind of stopwatch you have or watch you wear. So please be aware that it should be only single function. What is not allowed is that you cannot bring in post-its, because we cannot make sure that there is something written on it previous to you bringing it into the room. Also, any other forms of notes. When you are caught with all these kind of things, there could be potential consequences that you might have to embrace. Therefore, please be minded that these things are very, very essential things that you must comply in order to compete fairly in this entire tournament. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Use of internet and communication devices. This is pretty obvious. You cannot use any sort of internet or communication devices during the round. When debate preparation for each round starts, teams are never, ever allowed to use any electrical devices other than the devices that are used to capture yourself on the camera. Teams are also advised to refrain from touching their laptops until the debate round starts. The only instance in which you can actually touch your laptop is when you actually got the permission from the judge or the organizing committee, all right? So it is strictly banned. Also, in terms of debate reaction, I know that all of you are very used to giving debate reactions to encourage your team, but it's strictly not allowed in this particular tournament. Debaters are not delivering the speech. Debaters who are not delivering the speech at the moment must mute their microphones. You're not allowed to unmute yourself, and all participants should not unmute their microphone for any verbal debate reactions that could potentially interrupt the speech. For example, ear, shame, clapping, or hitting the desk. No matter what your intention is, any sort of debate reaction is not allowed. Recording and video. Debaters at any point of the tournament must not record debate rounds or screen capture any participants. There have been instances where teams have captured the screen or recorded some videos to make sure that they have something for any kind of for them to use for inquiries or any sort of complaints. The moment we saw that you have captured or recorded some of the rounds, it is not going to be admissible in any sort of proceedings or any sort of procedures that we are offering you. Therefore, you must be reminded that you must not record or screen capture anything of any kind in this particular tournament. It is strictly banned. It's a matter of privacy. Also, the grand finals for both general and EFL League will be recorded, but it's going to be shared on YTN website, an official YouTube channel, after the competition is over. In terms of points of information, which you raise a question during a person speaking their time, it's possible, but in this particular tournament, unlike the previous ones, verbal POIs that you're shouting out, point of information, ma'am, sir, while unmuting your microphone is strictly banned. At this particular tournament, at 14th tournament, verbal POIs are banned. Instead, you can raise non-verbal POIs by raising your hand or holding up a paper with POI written on it and showing it on the camera. That's the way you're going to raise a non-verbal POIs. Must be reminded that verbal POIs are strictly banned. This is to prevent teams from touching their devices too much, as well as making sure that all of you are certain that no one has cheated during the round and not get interrupted in the middle. All right? Next, let's now talk about debate guidelines. All right? First of all, when each team enters an individual Zoom debate room, I'm sure that you must know that online debate tournaments make you go into individual Zoom debate room, right? Your judges are going to check several things. First, your judge will welcome everyone and introduce him or herself. So the judge will introduce him or herself, which is going to serve as an audio test for the judge. You need to make sure that you can hear your judge's voice without interruption and without disconnection, all right? And second, your judge will check your camera view, making sure that everyone in the team is visible. In terms of camera check, no coach or observers should be in the room. It's against the rule to do that, and you should know that by now. And three, your judge will ask you if you need any toilet or water break before motion release, meaning you must be ready to participate in the debate by going to the bathroom or drinking enough water before coming into the room, all right? If the judges ask you if you need these time, you can do not hesitate to say yes, and you need to go to the toilet. As preparation did not start yet, you will be allowed to go to the toilet or have a water break, all right? Fourth, your judge will release the motion in the room. And also, your judge will remind everyone to mute all your devices before you start prepping, as we don't want any team be interrupted by the other. Also, your judge will remind everyone to make sure that your camera is on at all times. Unless the judges or the organizing committee members tells you to do otherwise, your camera should always be on during the tournament. Preparation time. When the preparation time for each round starts, teams are not allowed to use any sort of electrical devices, whether it's phones or tablets or any sort of things, other than the three devices that you're using to capture yourselves, okay? Also, debaters can ask for clarifications regarding the motion during the first 10 minutes of the preparation time, meaning when judges announce the motion in your room and you have a question about what that debate motion means, you can ask the judge your question, and the judges will inquire your question to us, to the chief adjudication panel, and we're going to give you an official answer to your room. But be reminded that when you ask a question, the answer to your question is likely to be opened to both teams. It's not going to be just given to your team only. All the answers to your questions will be directed to all teams, as we want to maximize the fairness in this particular competition. Also, a third party should not be in the room. There have been many precedents where a third party was shown during preparation or debate time, and leading to possible disqualifications. Meaning, you need to make sure that in your room, it's only your team that is shown on the camera, no one else, all right? Lastly, debaters should not engage in any verbal communication with anyone beside their team members. You're free to talk to your own teammates, of course, but you cannot communicate with any other team members who are not in your own team, all right? After the preparation time is over, your judge will ask you to introduce yourself and speaking positions. This is also going to serve as an audio check for your team. We need to make sure that in order for adjudication to be properly done, you need to make sure that your voice is heard to the judge. So judge is going to make sure that every single one of you can be heard through his or her own speaker or electronic devices that the judge is using. you need to make sure that the judge can hear you. It's recommended that you ask the judge, am I audible, or can you hear me? It's possible and it's recommended for you to ask the judge and double check that you are actually heard to the judge, right? This is online, so we're supposed to double check those things. Also, your judge will remind you to mute all your devices. We've been emphasizing this for more than 5 times now to make sure that we avoid feedback except for the camera. Podium to be used by the debater that needs to be deliver their speech at the moment, right? So everyone, mute your camera. The only people who speak are the judge and the speaker who's on the podium who are actually speaking and given time to speak, okay? All right, let's now talk about during the debate. Teams should refrain from touching their devices. This is extremely, extremely important, as I have stressed previously so far. Laptops, tablets, phones, no exceptions. No matter what it is, you should not touch these devices until debate round ends, unless debaters need to raise a POI or deliver their speeches. There has been a mistake on this slide. You cannot touch the device to unmute yourself when you're raising a POI. Scratch that part. You cannot unmute yourself by touching those devices when you're raising a POI, but you can only touch the device when you are delivering your speech. In order to do that, you need to unmute your speaker. That's the only time that you can touch your device. Also, debaters must not at any point of the tournament record debate rounds or screen capture any participants. As I said previously, this is a matter of privacy of others. If you want to be respected of your privacy, you need to respect the privacy of others, all right? Personal recording is strictly prohibited, all right? Debaters also should not engage in any verbal communication with anyone besides their team members during the debate as well as after preparation time is over, okay? All right. Let's now talk about what's going to happen after debate is over. Your judge will remind everyone not to drop out of the Zoom call until verdict is given. So you cannot quit Zoom unless you're done with your verdict and the judges and organizing committee members let you do so. You dropping out of Zoom without permission will cause delays and a lot of problems in terms of proceedings. Therefore, you have to follow the direction that the judge and the organizing committee members are giving you, and the judge will do the job for you. He or she is going to remind everyone what to do, and what you should do is not to drop out of the Zoom call, all right, until the verdict is given. Your judge will provide you with a verdict, and your judge will remind you to do the judge feedback after he or she delivers his or her oral adjudication. Remember to stay inside your breakout rooms, even if your room has received feedback, and finish the team to judge feedback as well. You'll be automatically moved back to the main hall once all the rooms finished the round with the feedback, okay? So all you have to do is just to stay there. Unmute yourself, listen to feedback, just stay there until someone tells you to do something, all right?
종이의 장수보다는 되게 꼭 이 흰 종이에 아무것도 없는 그런 종이였으면 좋겠습니다. 그 다음에 저지가 이 팀에게 이 종이를 좀 보여달라고 할 텐데 그럴 때 조금 따라 주셔가지고 제 정보를 좀 같이 제공을 해주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 타 팀에서 이거 관련해가지고 논란이 있을 수도 있기 때문에 이 부분 꼭 유의해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 그 다음에 뭐 펜이나 연필 이런 거는 본인 재량에 맞게 가져오시면 될 것 같고요. 사전은 하나, 그다음 얼마액도 딱 하나, 그 다음에 싱글 워치, 스탑워치를 가져오셨으면 좋겠습니다. 뒤에 나오겠지만 스마트폰 같은 경우에는 활용을 못하기 때문에 꼭 이렇게 스탑워치를 가져가시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 그 다음에 포스트잇이라든지 아니면 다른 형태의 노트는 허용이 안 되기 때문에 꼭 아무것도 적혀 있지 않은 A4 용지를 가져오시면 감사하겠습니다. 네, 인터넷이나 아니면 커뮤니케이션 디바이스 같은 경우에는 절대 엄금을 하고 있습니다. 실제로 저희가 사용되는 그런 자신을 비추기 위한 그런 모습 말고, 그런 용도의 전자기기 말고는 소통을 목적으로 하기 위한 전자기기는 허용이 되지 않기 때문에 이 부분 유의하셨으면 좋겠습니다. 또한 본인들의 컴퓨터를 만지는 행위는 오해를 분명히 불러일으킬 수 있기 때문에 최대한 그 부분 같은 경우에는 조심해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 또한 토론자들은 최대한 스피커를 토론 스피치 외에는 사용하시면 안 됩니다. 왜냐하면 추가적인 오해 소지가 있을 수도 있고, 지금 스피커가 자신의 스피치를 하는 데 있어서 방해가 될 수 있기 때문에 뭐 책상을 친다든지 아니면은 뭐 잘하고 있다라고 응원을 한다든지 그런 문구 같은 경우에는 최대한 지양을 해주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 절대 그 다음에 레코딩과 비디오 관련해서 공지드리도록 하겠습니다. 개인적인 목적으로 레코딩을 하는 경우에는 엄금을 하고 있습니다. 그렇기 때문에 개인이 나서가지고 개인의 노트북으로 녹화를 하거나 그런 행위는 안 해주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 그 다음에 그랜드 파이널 같은 경우에는 저희 YTN 측에서 직접 녹화를 하고 있기 때문에 그 부분 같은 걱정하지 않으셔도 되고, 개인적으로 라운드 내에서 절대 녹화하는 일은 없도록 해주시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 그 다음에 저번 대회와 변경된 부분이기 때문에 이 부분 또한 조금 유의해 주시면 좋겠는데요. 일단 verbal POI, 그러니까 저희가 마이크를 켜고 POI를 말하는 것은 이제 금지가 되어 있습니다. 대신에 종이에다가 POI를 써가지고 그렇게 종이를 들고 스피치를 하는, 뭐 POI를 주거나 POI를 받거나 그런 방식으로 지금 바뀌었으니까 절대 마이크를 켜고 POI를 외치는 것이 아니라 종이에 직접적으로 적어주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 저희가 이렇게 하는 이유는 저희가 POI를 종이에 쓰지 않고 매번 마이크를 켜게 된다면 참가자분들께서 화면을 계속 만지는 경우가 생기는데요. 이렇게 되면은 실제로 오해를 또 불러일으킬 수 있기 때문에 그런 확률이나 그런 가능성을 조금 내리고자 저희가 좀 방식을 바꿨다고 이해해 주시면 될 것 같습니다. 네, 그럼 디베이트 가이드라인에 대해서 설명드리도록 하겠습니다. 일단 먼저 저희가 방을 배정을 드리는데요. 방을 배정을 드리면 저지가 있을 것입니다. 그럼 저지가 본인을 좀 소개를 해주실 거고, 이렇게 하는 것은 단순하게 그냥 본인에 대한 정보를 알려주기보다는 과연 지금 온라인상으로 소통이 잘 되고 있는지 이 부분을 확인하기 위함이라고 알아주시면 될 것 같습니다. 그 다음에 가장 중요한 카메라 뷰 체크가 있습니다. 이거 하는 데 있어서 모두가 지금 방에 있고 코치나 아니면 observer 같은 경우가 없어야 합니다. 다른 사람이 그 공간에 있게 되면은 이것 또한 오해 소지가 생길 수 있고 차후에 조사가 들어가기 때문에 이런 부분은 좀 지양해 주시면 될 것 같습니다. 그 다음에 모션 릴리스가 있기 전에 저지가 화장실이나 아니면 물 마셔야 됐다 이런 걸 물어볼 텐데 이 시간을 활용하셔가지고 조금 시간을 엄수해 주시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 그 다음에 저지가 모션을 릴리스 하게 되고 그 다음에 프랩하기 전에 모두 뮤트를 해라고 말을 할 겁니다. 그 다음에 당연히 오해 소지가 없도록 그 다음에 반칙을 하지 않도록 카메라가 다 켜져 있도록 저지가 꾸준히 확인을 할 것입니다. 그 다음에 그렇게 시작되는 프랩타임 같은 경우에는 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 팀은 절대적으로 전자기기를 소통 목적으로 사용하면 안 됩니다. 그냥 카메라는 저지가 볼 수 있도록 비춰지는 모습만 지금 확인이 되어야 되고요. 추가적으로 만지거나 아니면 소통을 하는 모습은 보여져서는 안 됩니다. 그 다음에 토론 참가자들 같은 경우에는 그 모션에 대해서 헷갈리는 점이 있거나 아니면 클래리피케이션이 필요한 경우에는 첫 10분까지 조금 질문을 할 수 있습니다. 앞서 말씀드린 것처럼 학부모나 아니면 코치는 그 토론이 진행되는 방에 있으면 안 된다는 점 다시 한번 말씀드리도록 하겠습니다. 그 다음에 비슷한 맥락으로 본인의 팀 멤버 외에 뭐 마이크를 켜서 소통을 하거나 아니면 전자기기를 활용하거나 아니면 제3자와 소통하는 것은 절대 없어야 합니다. 그 다음에 프랩타임이 끝나고 디베이트가 시작되기 전에 저지가 자기소개를 좀 부탁할 것입니다. 자기소개를 하게 되는 이유는 아까 앞서 말씀드린 저지가 자기 자신을 소개하는 거랑 비슷한데요. 이게 과연 소통이 잘 되고 있는지, 인터넷 문제가 없는지 등을 확인하기 위함이라고 알아주시면 될 것 같습니다. 그 다음에 저지가 스피커 외에 모든 마이크를 뮤트하라고 할 텐데요. 이 점도 조금 적극적으로 참여해 주셔서 디베이트가 딜레이 되지 않고 토너먼트 자체가 딜레이 되지 않도록 꼭 참가해 주시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 네. 네, 그 다음에 디베이트가 시작되면은 이거는 계속 꾸준히 나오고 있는데요. 계속해서 이 화면을 만지는 일이 없도록 하고 전자기기를 사용하는 일이 없도록 합니다. 그 다음에 앞서 말씀드린 것처럼 POI를 할 때는 물론 만져야 하지만 그 과정 속에서 POI는 꼭 종이로 적어서 해야 된다는 점 인지해 주시길 바랍니다. 디베이트가 끝나고 난 후에는 그러니까 판결이 나가기 전까지는 절대 줌에서 나가지 말라고 저지가 말을 할 것입니다. 그 다음에 버딕트를 주고 피드백을 줄 건데요. 네, 여기서 중요한 거는 여기 브레이크룸을 계속 안에 계셔야 됩니다. 이거를 전체 나가기를 해버리면은 다시 한번 딜레이가 될 것이고 그러면 전체적으로 조금 토너먼트가 늦어질 수 있으니까 저희가 YTN 측에서 대회 운영 측에서 다시 메인 홀로 다시 돌려보낼 테니까 추가적으로 뭐 화면을 만지시거나 아니면 나가야 되는 이유는 없습니다. 그렇기 때문에 이 부분 또 인지하시면서 진행하시면 될 것 같습니다. 네, 그러면 지금까지 데피티 치프 어주디케이터 측에서 디베이터 측에게 하는 브리핑 여기까지 마치도록 하겠습니다. 네, 감사합니다. 혹시 질문 있으시면은 제가 답변 드리도록 하겠습니다. 네, 질문 같은 경우에는 손들기 기능으로 지금 편하게 해주시면은 한 명씩, 네, 하나씩 제가 답변 드리도록 하겠습니다. 네, 학부모님 그 마이크 해주시고 해제해 주시고 말씀해 주시면 될 것 같습니다.
네, 말씀 잘 들었고요. 오늘 안내해 주신 내용을 이렇게 동영상으로만 안내가 끝나는 건지 아니면 이런 내용을 조금 뭐 이렇게 글씨로 볼 수 있게 어디 홈페이지에 공지를 따로 해 주실까요?
네, 지금 공지가 되어 있는 상태입니다. 방금 문의 주신 것 같은 경우에는 지금 토너먼트 룰북에 찾아보시면 다 있고요. 그 다음에 지금 녹화되고 있기 때문에 이것 또한 저희가 영상을 올릴 예정이니까 걱정하지 않으셔도 될 것 같습니다. 네, 추가적으로 혹시 질문 있으신 분 손들기로 질문해 주시고요. 혹시 학부모님은 그 추가적인 질문이 있으신 걸까요? 아니면은 지금 아직 손 내리기가 안 된 걸까요? 아, 네. 혹시 그럼 추가적인 질문 없으시면은 저희가 여기서 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 질문이 없는 것 같으니까 여기서 마무리하도록 하겠습니다.
All right. This is the end of CAP briefing for 14th Middle School YTN Debate Tournament. If you have any questions, it's your time now. Don't hesitate to ask questions if something's not clear to you.
I have two questions.
Go
So
ahead.
firstly, are chat POIs also not allowed?
We only allow nonverbal POIs through raising your hand on the camera or writing a big writing of POI on an A4 blank sheet and showing it on the camera. No other forms of POIs are allowed.
Okay, and my second question is after the round begins, what if one of the devices disconnect due to like an internet issue?
It depends on the situation. Organizing committee member will be engaged in that situation, but it's going to depend on whether the debate has started or hasn't started yet as well. Also, even if the debate has started, if it's in the middle of speeches, meaning it did not interrupt anyone's speech, but it's in the middle to transition time between one speaker to the other, there will be different types of reactions done by the organizing committee, but appropriate actions will be taken. So you don't have to be worried about that at this particular point.
I'm the contact representative, but I don't have KakaoTalk installed.
All right. So I think those questions, I think I can better answer them. So regarding the first question regarding disconnection policy, when disconnection policy happen or disconnection between devices happen, we have disconnection policy rules that is mentioned within tournament policy guidelines that we have sent you through the contact person's email. So I think the first thing I will recommend is, because there are obviously online, like we are doing this in an online format, there's like going to be disconnections at some point during the debate. So I would advise students to be reading the tournament policy very carefully, especially there's a section that says when disconnections happen, there are policies that is listed there. So first, try to look at those policies, and if there is any questions on how this actually works, please contact the organizing committee and we will be more than happy to reach you out. The second question regarding the second student, which is about the contact person not having KakaoTalk and therefore isn't able to access that. If that is the case, I think instead of a contact person, another student who has the access to KakaoTalk can join the KakaoTalk open chat. The only thing that the team should be remembering is that only one student per team is allowed to join. So if the contact person is not able to join, another student can join, and that is perfectly fine. It is just that there shouldn't be 2 or more students that is joining. So does that answer the question? And if there is any more questions, just feel free to ask. Yeah. Yeah, so WJ, yeah.
For the tournament guidelines, it's in like the Google Sites, right? But then if I click on like the link, it says that the file is in the owner's trash, so we can't access it.
Okay, so regarding the tournament policy guideline, I'll check if the file is not retrievable, but we've already sent you the Google email through the contact person of the Google Drive link. So that would probably work because we are sending a G Drive link instead of the PDF, instead of sending the link directly to the PDF file. So if you're not able to retrieve them, I'll try to figure out how to fix this. But in the meanwhile, go to the contact person's, like if you're a contact person or your friend is a contact person, look for the email of where we sent all of the important tournament related files there, and you'll be able to find the Google Drive link. So yeah, Trio.
But how does my teammate get like into the open chat?
Okay, so yeah. So regarding the group chat, we've already sent the group chat link to the contact person's email. So when I tell you that there is tournament, we've sent the tournament related packet as well as the guidelines into the contact person's email. Within that Google Drive link, there is a PDF file of information packet that outlines the open talk for like the link for the KakaoTalk open chat. And the reason as to why we are only sending this to the contact person is because only one person, and preferably the contact person, should be joining the KakaoTalk, unless like the contact person does not have access to KakaoTalk. So regarding the KakaoTalk link, just go to the contact person's email and find the email that is with the subject line of 대회 중요 공지 or tournament related files. And then you'll be able to find out the link. Yep. Does that answer your question? Or if it does not, feel free to raise your hand again, and I'll try to explain it more in a detailed manner. Okay, all right, so is there any other questions left for other students? Okay, James.
So you mentioned about like POI, so we could either raise our hands or like make a paper, like write it down on a paper and like hold it up. So like if they check that we have a POI, are we allowed to like unmute like instantly, or do they need to like give us a signal to unmute?
Yeah, so like when after you've hold up a POI sign and then the person who is speaking gives you consent that, okay, so I'll take your POI, that's the point at which you should be unmuting. And if that's not the case, you shouldn't be unmuting yourself. So only unmute if the opposition person who is currently speaking gives you that consent. Right. Any other questions? Okay. I'm seeing none. So if that's all of the questions, I think we can just end the technical run for this year's middle school tournament here. If there is any other questions, and I'm pretty sure that students will have some, the point to which you see the technical run PPT file again, feel free to just contact us with the contact information that we have outlined to you in the technical run PPT. We also mentioned that in the Google website as well. So looking at that, or in the one Kakao open chat. So feel free to ask questions right now. Yeah, Aiden, Kim, yep.
I didn't. Where is the KakaoTalk, the chat box? Because I didn't receive anything.
So KakaoTalk open chat for the tournament, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that we've sent all of those links in the 대회 중요 공지 email by the contact person. So if Aiden, you are the contact person, first look at the email and see if there's a email that was sent by the YTN organizing committee saying 대회 중요 파일 공지. If that's not the case, you can just contact the organizing committee and they will send you right away.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's a lot of other students don't have any questions. So I think we can end the CAP and the TD briefing now as well. If there is any questions, again, feel free to ask the organizing committee before the tournament, and we will be trying to fulfill the curiosity that you have before the tournament actually starts. So this is going to mark the end of the TD and the CAP briefing. We hope that everyone was fully informed and was heard of our informative session. And then we will be waiting to actually see you guys next week on actual debate championship. Thank you very much.